Hey guys, Average Scarecrow here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Thank you very much for dropping by the channel. As always, I really appreciate it. Today, we're going to be doing a pretty fun video, actually. We're going to be doing an all-rare team, and we're going to be tackling some of the mid-game content. So this is going to be like stage 20 dungeons, so on and so forth, that type of stuff. But I thought it would be fun to showcase the 4 brand new rare champions from the Argonite's faction. Now, I'm going to be running them with Gear Grinder. I'll get to that in a little bit. But the Argonite's faction has 4 rares. We have the Sunken Sentinel, Blade Rider, Acolyte of the Slither, and Crimson Pegasus. Sorry, I was holding in a cough there. 4 new rare champions that I went ahead and I built. I actually pulled 2 of them during the April 1st mystery shard event that they did. So I got pretty lucky there that I pulled them so quickly. And I went ahead and built them because I wanted to do a video showing them off, because I feel like rares nowadays are overshadowed pretty much immediately because of how accessible epic champions have become. Back in the day when I first started, I used a lot of rare champions on my team. Not a lot, but I did use rare champions on my teams, right? The starter champions, like the Aethels is who I started with. Who else did I use? Gore Mask. I used a lot of Gore Mask. I really liked him as a damage dealer. All sorts of champions. Gear Grinder is one of them, as a reviver. Who's the Undead Horde one? With a flag, Grinner. Sorry, I used Grinner as a rare reviver a lot. So, but nowadays rares never make it onto my teams, and it's a little bit of a bummer because they're actually pretty fun to use. And Plarium actually did a really good job with these champions. So we're going to go over their kits quickly. I'll go over the builds very quickly. I'll show the masteries, but I'm not really going to go over each individual one. I'll hold it up on the screen so you guys can see it, but I'm not going to go over each one individually. And then we're going to go through, like I said, and we're going to try to tackle as much of the mid-game content as we can. So like stage 20 dungeons. So let's go ahead and we'll start with Gear Grinder, actually. So the reason why I'm going to be using Gear Grinder is because the only thing that we're lacking right now in rares for Argonites is a reviver. Now I have a reviver, but I have Glorious Palace, but she's a legendary reviver, and I do want to keep it with rares for this video. So Gear Grinder, he's got a single target revive, which is why we're using him, with 50% HP, 50% turn meter on a 5-turn cooldown, and he's got a heal on the A2. He's got a conditional heal on the A1, but I don't have him with crit rate, so we won't be getting the heal on the A1, just the heal on the A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. I do not have masteries done on him. I do not have him in a relic, and I've got him in Regen Immortal. This is my favorite build. Even today, this is my favorite build to use for revive champions. Regen Immortal to get every time they take a turn, 18% heal. I've got him in 66,000 HP, 2724 on the defense, 221 on the speed, and 464 on the resist to try and prevent him from getting crowd controlled. I've got him in Survival Instinct, so every time they get a debuff on them, so if he gets a debuff placed on him, he'll get a 7% turn meter fill. Okay, that's a Gear Grinder. He's going to be our reviver. Moving on, the first Argonite on the team is going to be Sunken Sentinel. This guy's an attack-based champion out of the Argonite's faction. They really knocked it out of the park with the aesthetics on these guys. He's kind of like the blue skin, almost looks like a little bit of stone maybe, but I'm pretty sure what they were going for was that he probably crashed in a ship and then he was at the bottom of the sea. That's why he's kind of blue. So he's got a single target on the A1, which places an extra hit if they're under decreased defense, which he's bringing on the A2. It's an AoE, 50% chance of placing drop defense for 2 turns, and the chance increases by 5% for each alive ally. So that's going to go up to, if you have 4 allies, it's going to go up to 80%, and then I have him in Sniper to make it an 85% chance of placing drop defense. On the A3 on a 3-turn, that's on a 4-turn cooldown, by the way. Pretty rough that it's on a 4-turn cooldown. On the A3, we've got a 3-turn cooldown, single target attack, heals by 20% of the damage inflicted, or 30% if they're under drop defense, and then destroys max HP by 20% or 30% if they're under decreased defense of the damage inflicted. Sorry. On the masteries, let me go ahead and pull these up for you. Well, I guess we can just show them off right here. No, I'll go in. Here we go. Going all the way down to pick up War Master for bonus damage, and then a lot of accuracy here, and a chance to extend the drop defense as well. On the Relic, I've got Sigil of the Akar. Wearer receives 3% less damage from enemies whose max HP is at least double the wearer's max HP. That's good to have because he is a squishy champion. Very, very squishy. I've got Sunken Sentinel in Reflex, 3 pieces of Feral, and 1 piece of Protection. So we're looking for Reflex for a chance to reduce a random skill's cooldown by 1 turn. So primarily what we're hoping for is on the A2 to get back around to that decreased defense more option. I've got him in crit rate with crit damage on the gauntlets. I've actually got him in HP with HP percentage on the chest plate, even though he's an attack-based champion, because look at that base HP, 12,390. Pretty bad base speed as well at 95, and pretty bad defense at 925. So if he gets hit, he's going down. That's why we want HP rather than attack percentage on the chest plate. You could even go HP on the crit rate, or I'm sorry, on the gauntlets as well. It certainly wouldn't hurt to help keep him alive. We've got about 40,500 on the HP, 2567 on the defense, 2377 on the defense, 268 on the speed, 80% on the crit rate, 151 crit damage, and 471 on the accuracy. That is the Sunken Sentinel. These people seem to generally like this guy, and I agree. I think for a rare champion, he's obviously not as good as like a War Maiden, who is campaign farmable. She's got a AoE drop defense on a 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown. So that's something to keep in mind. Moving on from there, we've got Blade Rider. This guy's another attack-based champion out of the Argonites faction. People really like this guy, and I agree. I think you're going to be pretty shocked with how good he is. I've got him on the A1. It's a 2-time hitter, ignoring 5% defense. On the A2, it's a single target attack on a 3-turn cooldown with a 75% chance of placing stun, and then attacks all other enemies if this champion is under increased attack, but will not place a stun against all other enemies. And then on the A3, on a 3-turn cooldown, we've got an AoE, but before he attacks, places increased attack and crit damage on all allies for 2 turns, and fills his turn meter by 5% for each critical hit. So turn meter fill, increase attack, increase crit damage, which leads into the A2, which gives us an AoE attack with a single target stun. That's incredible. He's got attack in faction crypts by 21%. Not the best aura. We won't be using it today in this video. Let me go back real quick because I forgot to say that I have Sunken Sentinel in Phantom Touch. He has a 15% chance of inflicting bonus damage when he attacks. I have Blade Rider in the same thing, 1-star Phantom Touch. On the masteries, I went down and I went maximum damage here, so a chance to ignore 25% defense, and then a little bit of accuracy, but also a chance to extend the buffs that he's casting as well. On the Relic, I put him in a 4-star Malefic Talon that's going to give us crit damage and HP, as well as a 20, 30, 35% chance to deal 10% more damage when attacking. So stacking up that damage a little bit, and the crit damage is really, really nice. I've got him in a pretty strong Slayer Merciless build, so 35% ignore defense, 15% crit damage. The Mercurial is just there because it's a good accuracy banner with double speed and attack percentage, so that's really good. I've got him in attack with crit damage on the Amulet. That is not really the best one, but it's also not the worst. It gives us some accuracy, even more crit damage here, and some attack. So, and then crit damage, attack, attack, and then attack with speed. So on the total stats, we've got 40, almost 41,000 on the HP, 6234 on the attack. Sorry, 1429 on the defense. Practically no defense. Look at that base defense. Look at that base HP. Pretty low all the way around, to be honest with you. 100% on the crit rate, 277 on the crit damage, and 251 on the accuracy. I always forget how squishy rares are. Now that I'm looking at these base stats, man, it's no wonder why they've fallen so far out of usability in this game. But yeah, sorry, those are the stats. I still like them, even though they are squishy and they start to fall off pretty quickly after stage 20, but they're still pretty good. Acolyte of the Slither is next. This guy's going to be our main turn meter booster. On the A1 here, he's got a 3-time hitter, with each hit having a 60% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 5%. If they are under decreased speed, it's 10% instead. On the A2, we've got on a 3-turn cooldown, it's an AoE with 75% chance of placing drop speed for 2 turns and then heals all allies by 15% of their max HP. On the A3, on a 3-turn cooldown, we've got increased speed on all allies for 2 turns and a 15% turn meter fill. He's also got speed in dungeons by 16%. That's a strong aura. I've got him in 1-star miracle heal. Honestly, that's not a very good one. What else do we have available here? Probably, honestly, let's just go. Let's just go with survival instinct. So we'll have a chance to or I'm sorry, he'll get turn meter fill anytime a debuff is put on him. What else? What else? Sorry, the mastery's here. I went and picked up War Master. I do want a little bit of damage out of him, but I also wanted to buff up the heals, so we went down and picked up all the healing stuff, and then Master Hexer again to extend the decrease speed on this guy. I've got him in Journal of Necrodos to boost up his heals and turn meters by a further 21%, so should juice up his heals quite a bit. It also gives us some HP and defense, which is really nice. I've got him in Perception, Relentless for accuracy and speed, and then an 18% chance to get an extra turn. Protection is also going to give us a little bit of HP, and Feral is going to give us a little bit of accuracy. However, we could probably juice up the speed a little bit more, but I don't want to lose all that accuracy, so we'll leave it there. Total stats on this guy, we're looking at 69,000 on the HP, 2938 on the defense, 251 on the speed, and 325 on the accuracy. Did I miss anything? I feel like I skipped over something there. No, I didn't. We're good. And then last but not least, we've got Crimson Pegasus. This guy's a Spirit Affinity support champion. That's what I missed. We've got a Force Affinity HP champion here with Crimson Pegasus. He's got on the A1 here a single target attack, which has a 30% chance of placing stun. On the A2, on a 4-turn cooldown when booked, he's got a taunt on himself for 1 turn, and then places a shield on all allies for 2 turns, equal to 15% of this champion's max HP. That's pretty solid. And then on the passive here, on a 1-turn cooldown, whenever he's attacked, has a 25% chance of decreasing all incoming damage to 0. That's a really good passive for a rare champion. Taunt also opens up Phantom Shogun for us, so he can help you out with Phantom Shogun as a progression champion. Yeah, really good champion. 15% in all battles for HP. Look at that arena defense. They rate him a 5 overall. On the masteries, again, went down and picked up War Master, and then I also wanted to buff up his shields a little bit, so I went down and picked up the shields and then lasting gifts to potentially extend the shield buff, and then also some accuracy as well for the stuns. On the Relic, again, Malefic Talon, crit damage and HP with a 30% chance of dealing 10% more damage when attacking. I've got him in a damage dealing set because he's an HP based champion. It's easier to build them with damage and survivability because you just scale up the HP a lot. So you're getting a lot of survivability and more damage. So it's really nice. You don't have to go with this. You could also go with like a shield or a bolster set would be a really, really good set for this guy. But I wanted to see how much damage he could do on the A1. Probably not the best overall, but I was curious to see what he can do. So we've got him in lethal with crit rate and 25% ignore defense, merciless. We've got Stone Skin for some HP, and then protection for a little bit of resist. Mercurial 2-piece set gives us 15% more HP. So we've got 95,000 on the HP here. He's got actually pretty solid base HP. Not horrible base defense either. 2030 on the defense, 208 on the speed. Pretty slow. I haven't built pretty slow. We might have to switch that for Phantom Shogun. We're not going to go all the way up to stage 25. We'll probably go stage 15 or stage 20. 99% on the crit rate, 315 on the crit damage, and then 124 on the accuracy. And we probably do want to switch. Let me see if I have. We'll just make a quick switch here. Do I have any more accuracy banners? I don't. I don't. I only have 3 banners so far. That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. So that's why I didn't put him in an accuracy banner, because I just ran out of them. So let's go ahead and jump in here real quick. And why don't we start with Iron Twins? It's a Void Affinity. So we can go in there and we actually have decreased speed, which is really cool. Because that helps us out a little bit. And we'll just throw it on auto. Let's see what these guys can do. We are on the hardest one, though, so I don't know if it's going to work. Yep, he already goes down. We might have to lower it. I'm so used to running the highest stage that I just went to it instinctively. Oh, yeah. Look at that, though. This guy's a tank, man. I don't think we're going to get it done. Look at that. Look at all those extra turns. Yeah, I think... Here, let me back out real quick, because those guys went down super fast. That's what I mean. When you start getting up to the higher stages, they start to go down pretty quickly here. So let's go down to stage 10, see if that's any better. So the drop defense goes out. A little bit better. Look at that. 115,000 on that AoE. Blade Rider is... I think you guys are going to be pretty surprised with the damage he can put out. It's pretty impressive, actually. Yeah, okay. This is already going a little bit better. Still taking a little bit of damage, though, from those damage dealers. I also don't have a cleanser on this team. So we're going to struggle a little bit there. The decreased speed, that was huge. We needed that. Man. Oh, it's going to be close. Okay, perfect. Decrease speed again. Look at how tanky Crimson Pegasus is. Oh, I said that and then he died immediately. All right, doesn't look like we're going to be able to get it done. We're going to have to... We'll get the loss out of the way early. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it done. Unless... No, I don't think so. All right, let's go ahead and... All right, I'll go ahead and end it there. What am I thinking here? Iron Twins, maybe a little too difficult. That's fine, though. Let's go ahead and move on to the core dungeons. We're going to do Minnows Labyrinth, and we'll run the same team here. There's that AoE drop defense. And look at that. 124,000 on that AoE. You know, for a rare champion, that is solid. 66k. That was without drop defense, too. Look at that. 160,000. Pretty good. Pretty good. 80,000 on that A1 for Crimson Pegasus as well. These guys are solid champions, man. Solid champions. 121,000 on that AoE. Boom. There it is. 164 and a half. 164 and a half. I forgot I don't have masteries on Gear Grinder. So now he has a few masteries. There we go. So it all worked out. Let's go Ice Golem. We'll go stage 20 here. And we'll do the same thing. We'll go you in the lead, bring you in, and then bring our Reviver in. So let me take it off auto real quick, because now we're kind of getting into the meat of it. Let's go AoE drop defense here. And pretty unlucky there on the roll, on the land rate. That would have been an 85% chance to land, and we only landed 2 of them. That's not great. That's not great. Here we go. Let's go. We'll go increase attack. Boom. But look at that. 100 some odd thousand, about 100k there. We could put the shield on. Let's try to take you out, because they placed that obnoxious, what am I thinking? block debuffs. And then we'll try to take you out. Boom, 127, and then the AoE finishes him off. It's solid, man. It's good. We're already back around to that AoE attack, which is really cool. And even without drop defense, he deals just a ton of damage. So I'm actually going to save that because it's on such a long cooldown. And we'll still get the AoE, and he still clears the wave out, even without drop defense. It's really good, man. He's an excellent damage dealer. Like for a rare champion, 100k on the A1 as well. I'll go ahead and throw it on auto now. Ice Golem obviously is a tough boss to, what am I thinking, manual, because he can come in and just absolutely obliterate your team with that hidden ability. Or not hidden, it's not really a hidden ability. It's a, but it's a hard hitting AoE. And we don't have decrease attack on this team. So that's another thing that can lead to some trouble because we can't mitigate the damage that way. So that's why the shield is so important from Crimson Pegasus. That's why we want him in lasting gifts, for example. See, thankfully the minions were dead, so we didn't take a huge amount of damage. And like I said, we had that shield up, which is helpful. We are going to take a lot of damage that time around, though, because one of the minions was up. But we're holding it together pretty well. There's the revive. Let's try to get that minion dead. Very nice, very nice. Look at that, 173,000 damage on that AoE. I mean, like, that's a lot of damage, man. That's a lot of damage for a rare champion. And then the amount of turn meter manipulation you get out of Acolyte of the Slither. I mean, all of these rare champions are bringing something useful to the table, which is really, really cool. Big hit coming in. Almost takes us out. Or some of us out. Crimson Pegasus is a tank. I'm curious to see. I'm pretty sure that Acolyte's going to have more heals, but I'm curious between Acolyte and Gear Grinder who has the higher heals here. So, oh, actually Gear Grinder coming in with about 50k more heals, so good for him. But Acolyte of the Slither with almost 500,000 in heals, and then obviously the turn meter manipulation is really, really good. So, and we are able to clear through stage 20. I'm going to pass from Spider's Den because we don't have HP burn. So I'm going to pass Spider's Den. We'll go into stage 20 here of Dragon's Lair. Let's see what they can do. Almost one-shots the wave. I mean, look at that, 200k damage. 200k damage on that. 100k on the A1. And even though Crimson Pegasus only has the one hit, that one hit still hits pretty decently hard. Look at that, almost 200k again. Now it's all about, can we get the bar down? So he's got that purple bar. We do have a couple War Masters. Oh, look at that, 129,000. It is enough. Big hit, but it's enough. We're just tanky enough. Our damage dealers are just tanky enough to where they're not getting eviscerated every time. They're still dying, but I expected that. They're rare champions. I mean, the base stats on them are so low that I was expecting them to die quite a bit, but they're actually holding up quite well. Okay, there it is, 100,000 on the final hit there. Again, we've got actually Slither, Acolyte of the Slither did better in heals this time, 363 compared to the 186 from Gear Grinder. Look at this, Blade Rider with 2.3 million damage. Sentinel and Pegasus both around 650 to 700,000, but that's with only one attack from Crimson Pegasus, and that's with a single target attack. Sentinel has an AoE and two other single target attacks. That's really, really impressive out of Crimson Pegasus. Yeah, super impressed with that. Let's go into, I actually do want to do Fire Knight because we got a couple multi-hitters with turn meter manipulation. So we'll go stage 20 here. We don't have an ally attack, but I think for stage 20, it's going to be okay. I think we'll get away with just the multi-attacks here. The problem here is going to be Blade Rider being weak affinity to get through the waves. Or not. Or not. I also feel like the waves for Fire Knight, I've never actually bothered to check, but I feel like they're definitely way tankier than the other dungeons. Like stage 20, it just takes longer to get through the waves. Okay, this is fine. 83,000. 83,000 on the A1 is really good. 60,000. There's the stun. The stun finally came in. That's what we wanted to see. I actually hadn't noticed him stun anyone before then. Maybe he did, but... Come on, any day now. We'll get through it. All right, here we go. Would have loved for you to have not used the drop speed until the shield was down. A little bit of turn meter drop. Okay, we barely survived that one. Blade Rider barely survives that. We get the heal. We get the Relentless proc, which is great. Gives us 3 hits. There's the turn meter fill. Beautiful. Now it's just about can we land the decreased speed? So there's the decreased speed, which is great. We needed that decreased speed. We got the multi-hits. All right. There's the turn meter fill. I don't think we're doing enough damage here. There's the turn meter drop. The Relentless proc was great. That gave us more time to do some damage. Look at that. Perfect. So now we've done a decent chunk of damage. We're going to get back around. Yeah, I would have loved for him to just have used the A1 there, though. All right, I'm going to let this play through for just a little bit. I'll speed it up for you guys so you don't have to watch the whole thing, but I am curious to see if they can pull this off. So I will see you guys back here at the end of the fight. All right. It was enough. We ended up getting it done. It did take 6.5 minutes, though. So keep that in mind. It took 6.5 minutes. But you can see here Blade Rider with 2 million damage, Sentinel with 1 million, Crimson Pegasus with 1.4 million. And then look at the heals, man. Gear Grinder, 1.1 million. Slither, 1.04 million. Acolyte of the Slither, obviously MVP there. Multi hits on the A1, increased speed, decreased speed on the A2. The Relentless procs were the only reason why we were able to keep that shield down and that turn meter down. Yeah, but overall, we did get it done, although it was a little bit tough, to be totally honest with you. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's move on to. Actually, I'll tell you what, why don't we wrap it up with Phantom Shogun here? We'll keep it to dungeons. Why don't we do stage... Do we start with 15? Let's see if we're fast enough to do 15, okay? Let's see if we're fast enough to do 15. Crimson Pegasus is the guy who worries me. I might have to switch him over to a faster build. Yes, it does look like we probably will. Maybe not. Maybe we can get the turn meter fill. Can we speed boost past him? We can. So we can taunt now. And then we can keep our damage dealer, Blade Rider, able... we can keep him available to do damage. So we'll go ahead and just put it on auto now. Boom. Look at that. 240,000 out of Crimson... I'm sorry, out of Blade Rider. Now we're in trouble, though. Because I don't think we have enough. Oh, yeah, look at that. Already up to 17. Ooh, big ol' hit. Oh, yeah, we're in trouble. Are we cooked, boys? Are we cooked? No, okay. We survived. I think we're going to be okay. There's the taunt again. Taunt is great. Perfect. That should do it. Finish him off, Blade Rider. Boom. Look at that. Okay, so stage 15, done. All right, very, very cool. Very, very cool. Stage 20, we are going to be too slow. Not going to bother with that one. But stage 15, and that's with a pretty slow build on Crimson Pegasus as well, without a cleanser, right? So if you, obviously you're going to have other options available. You don't have to run all rare teams. You can run a cleanser. You can run a 9-piece protection, block debuffs champion to progress even further. But an all rare team taking down stage 15 is pretty good. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I think I'm going to do dedicated guides to each of these champions. They are a lot of fun. I was kind of showing them off all at once. But there's a part of me that wants to do individual videos for these guys to show them off. At the very least, yeah, no, I think I want to do all 4. Let me know, guys, if you would like to see individual guides on these guys, and we can show them off in all sorts of different areas, arena, Doom Tower, all over the place. But I had a lot of fun with this one. I think overall, my favorite champion out of these rares, I think for me, it's going to be between Blade Rider and Acolyte of the Slither. I think in order, going from 4 to 1, from least favorite to most favorite, it's going to go Sunken Sentinel, Crimson Pegasus, and then I think Blade Rider and Acolyte. I think Acolyte is my favorite one out of all 4 of these guys, but I do really like all 4 of them. But the 3-time multi-hitter on the A1, the AoE drop speed with the heal, the increased speed, the big version of increased speed with the turn meter fill on a 3-turn cooldown is just so good. It's hard, and speed in all dungeons as well is just such a great aura for a rare champion. So Acolyte of the Slither, I think, is my favorite out of these guys, but it's very close with Blade Rider at number 2 with that really hard, 2 really hard-hitting AoEs, and then hard-hitting A1 as well. Puts him in pretty close territory with Acolyte of the Slither. But that's not to say that Crimson Pegasus and Sunken Sentinel are bad. I really like both of them as well. Crimson Pegasus, like I said, even though he's only got 1 hit, he's only got 1 attack. but it's a hard hitting attack. It's pretty good with a reliable chance of stun, and that passive as well is just so good. And then Sunken Sentinel, I think, is probably the weakest out of the bunch, but he is bringing an AoE drop defense, and it's pretty reliable as well. Just a little bit harder to build because he is, I think, in comparison, he is a lot squishier, it felt like, than everyone else. But guys, I'm going to go and end the video there. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to see full guides on these guys, showcases on these guys, let me know, and I'll go ahead and get started on those. But I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for dropping by the channel. As always, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.